Hi, I'm Selena and welcome to my October TBR or my October to be read. I'm going to be talking about all the books that I have or I'm going to read or I plan to read in the month of October. I probably won't get to all these because I just have large TBRs, and if you can see up here, these are a lot of the books that I need to read in the month of September, and I still haven't gotten to a lot of them yet. And so things could switch around. I could not get to some of those and have to read those in October, which will probably happen because I only have 10 days left in the month. So just like, bear with me, this TBR could really change. So first, I just want to talk about some of the audiobooks that I plan on picking up and the new releases that I plan on picking up. The first one is an audiobook that's kind of a short audiobook. I haven't been doing well with audiobooks lately, but like this one's short, so it might work. And it's creepy. And it's called The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle. This is I think it's a retelling of a Lovecraft story, but without all the racism. And so I might need to read that Lovecraft story first just to like, you know, see the original and then read the other one. So this is a short horror novella and I know nothing more than that. I'm gonna read it. I also want to read a new release that came out in September, and that new release is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is a book about a trans Latinx boy who wants to prove that he can be a brujo, and so in order to do that, he brings a ghost into being, and I think there's a romance with said ghost. I'm describing this so badly, like I'm sure that this doesn't sound like an appealing description because I don't know much about it, but this is getting so much hype right now. It's on the New York Times bestseller list. And so I'm really excited to pick it up and I want to pick it up. Then I have some new releases and one of them is like very tentative, and that is Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. Hopefully the ebook, he should be sending out the ebook for Dawn Shard soon. I participated in the Kickstarter he did so I could get Dawn Shard. And so hopefully I will be able to read that on e-copy really soon. So another new release that's coming out in October is Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. I really want to read this. This is a short story that's going with her Grisha trilogy. There's a book in the Grisha trilogy called The Lives of Saints, which goes through all the saints of Ravka, and so I would like to read that. This is a new release and I'm really excited about it. I need more Grisha content. Then I want to read some of my most anticipated books that I have and own and really want to read. The first one of those is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This is about a house of foster children or something who are all magical. It's like an orphanage, a home for these magical children who don't have families, and one of them is prophesied to cause the end of the world. We follow a social worker, a magical social worker, who's going to check on the house and is trying to find out who this kid who is supposed to cause the end of the world is. He's trying to find out the identity, and he has to deal with the caretaker of these children who will stop at nothing to protect them at whatever cost to the rest of the world. And so I'm really excited about this one. It sounds right up my alley. Then the next most anticipated book I'm going to hopefully read is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This is the sequel to Skyward, which is a YA science fiction about a girl named Spencer who desperately wants to be a pilot, but on her planet, cowardice is punished severely and her father is labeled a coward, and so that really keeps her from getting to her dream easily. And so we follow Spence in that one trying to achieve her dream, and I really don't know what this is going to be doing, just continuing the story that we left off with, and I'm really excited. Next, I am going to hopefully read the second in the Lord of the Rings. I had planned to read the first of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, this month, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Hopefully I will. This is like one of my priorities, so hopefully I'll get to this and I will be able to read The Two Towers next month. But if I can't, you might see me reading Fellowship or both next month. Or the next set of books that I want to read a book from is my somewhat anticipated part of the shelf, and that has books that I do want to read, but you know, they're not as anticipated as my most highly anticipated books. The book that I'm picking this month is The Shining by Stephen King. You know what The Shining's about. I don't really know what The Shining's about. Haunted hotel. So that's all I'm going to say about The Shining. Another thing I try to do each month is read a book that I have had on my shelves for over a year or about a year. My pick for that category for this month is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I've had this for several years now and I have not picked it up, but I would really like to. V.E. Schwab and I don't really get along as like a reader and a writer. Like, I don't tend to love her stuff, or so far from what I've read of it, but I'm really hopeful that Vicious could be something that I love, because a lot of people who don't love Schwab's other work really love this one. And so I'm really excited about this. This is about two old college friends who discovered that there are such things as extraordinaries, or people with superpowers. If you go through like a really traumatic event, you can develop superpowers. And these two like college PhD students figure out how to do it. And so we follow that story of them being friends, and then we follow like 10 years later, I think, where one of them has just gotten out of prison and one of them is killing extraordinaries across the world. And so things are a bit different for them, and they are enemies. They hate each other. That's that, and I'm really excited for that because that sounds amazing. So along with the Lovecraft story that I want to read, another classic that I want to read this month is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I've been making my way through the Sherlock Holmes series. I'm currently on the Sign of the Four, and I would like to read The Adventures next month. So my friend Udi has been trying to get me to read the conclusion to this trilogy by Dan Wells, the John Cleaver series, I Don't Want to Kill You, and this is the final book and I haven't read it, and I'm going to this month. You're welcome, Udi. You are welcome. So this is a book about a teenager who has a lot of violent impulses. He kind of thinks about killing people all the time, and that's clearly an issue. But it turns out that his thinking like a serial killer might actually come in handy when an actual serial killer seems to be taking root in his town. And so that's what the first book is about, him sort of using his own mind to figure out someone else's and trying to figure out who the serial killer is and things like that. And I Don't Want to Kill You follows John Cleaver through the events of the first book and the second book into the third book, and I really have no idea what this is about otherwise, because every book in this series has been really different so far. I really didn't like the first one very much, and I thought the second one was really good. So we'll see where I stand on this one. Udi seems to think it would be a 5-star book. I'm holding you to that, Udi. I'm holding you to that. And then I just have 3 books that I need to read for school in October, and I am gonna tell you about those now. The first of those is Long Burn by Jo Baker. I'm in a class about Pride and Prejudice, and this is one of our readings that we are reading. This follows the servants at Long Burn, which is the estate that Pride and Prejudice, the principal characters of Pride and Prejudice live at. And so we follow the lives of the servants, not the lives of the upper middle class, like Gentile rich people that Austen writes about. Austen doesn't really talk about servants very often, and she certainly doesn't give them perspectives or their own lives, and so Long Burn does that and tries to fill that gap, and so I'm excited to read it, but it's also a class book, so I gotta prioritize this. I'm also in a fantasy class, and we're going to be reading a book that I've actually already read, and that is Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. I've actually read the first book in this series. We're only reading the first book, and this is a bind-up of the first 4. So I know this story. I thought it was good last time, but it wasn't like my new favorite thing. So I'm excited to see what I will think of it this time. And then we are also reading Kindred by Octavia Butler. I am really excited to dive into this one. This is about a Black woman who is sent back in time. She lives in our time, but she's sent back in time to the antebellum South, and she is tasked with saving the life of this white man. It turns out that she is actually a descendant of this white man. Descendant, right? Because she will descend from him? Yes, I suppose so. Her life depends on his living through whatever accident she needs to save him from, and so she has to grapple with that as well, because this man is a slaveholder. And so the reasons for them being related are not good. I'm just really excited. I don't know too much about this otherwise, but this book is super highly acclaimed. Octavia Butler just made it onto the New York Times bestseller list posthumously, so that's really great. And I'm just excited to read my first Octavia Butler book. So these are most of the books that I want to read in the month of October. They're gonna fall, but we're gonna hold them until they do. So these may not be the books that I actually read, but these are the books that I'm putting on my TBR. I hope I will get to them, but there's no telling. I've got classes, got a lot of other books that I haven't read for this month we're currently on. And I've also been kind of a mood reader, so I've kind of been just reading whatever I wanted instead of what I told myself I was gonna read. So that's been great. So I'm gonna try and do that. I'm excited about a lot of these books though, so that's really good. And I will see you next time in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.